All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Andrew Walsh. I'm the Undersheriff with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I want to thank you all for coming because we have a very important message for our community today. But I also want to thank some guests that we have here with us today that shows the partnership that our community has to make the 4th of July a safe and happy holiday for all of us. So I want to start by introducing, I have Clark County Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick here with us, the City of Las Vegas Mayor Marilyn Goodman. Also have Deputy Chief Thomas Touchstone from the Clark County Fire Department, and from the City of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, we have Chief Fernando Gray. We all know that historically during the 4th of July, it's a very busy day for our community. We see an increase in calls for service with regards to a large number of disturbances related to fireworks activity, disruptive parties, things like that that cause the quality of life in our community to be stretched on a day like the 4th of July. And as a police department, every year leading up to the 4th of July, we hear the community's concerns. We hear it during the actual day of the 4th of July, and we hear it in the weeks and months after the 4th of July regarding our enforcement efforts during the holiday. And every year we try to learn from the previous year. And, the idea of how we go out and combat illegal fireworks during the 4th of July, it really is a team effort. And that's why it's important that you look and see the partnerships that are represented here today. And for years, we've participated in a program with our partners in the fire services at the city and the county in a program called You Light It, We Write It. And this year, today, what we're going to talk about is what we've done in addition to just that program and highlight the partnerships that we have. So you can see on the board to my left, we've employed reader boards throughout the thoroughfares that come into Clark County from outlying areas that tell people that if you're going to come into Clark County with illegal fireworks, that they are in fact illegal and that you are in fact breaking the law. So everyone is on notice, has been on notice since about the middle of June, that this type of traffic, this type of activity coming into our neighborhoods and our community will not be tolerated. We started these efforts back in the middle of June and really do appreciate the assistance from the city and the county with jumping on board early with us on this plan. And so far, over the last 2 weeks, I'll give you some data. Over the last 2 weeks, we've recovered over 7 tons of illegal fireworks that were on their way into our neighborhoods. And tomorrow, that effort will continue. We're going to have over 100 police officers partnered with our first responder community partners at the city and the county fire departments that will be out in our community addressing the use of illegal fireworks. These officers will focus on not only intervening where fireworks are being used, but where fireworks are being used and there's disruptive parties, all the things that we hear every year that disrupt the quality of life and disrupt people that are just simply trying to celebrate our nation's independence. It's a significant increase in staffing compared to previous years, and I know that that also mirrors what the investment is from the city and the county as far as staffing. We've increased the numbers all around, and these teams will be deployed into areas where we know historically we've had problems in the past, but also areas where we see the greatest number of problems on a regular basis. And let's let it be a reminder, too, that the use of illegal fireworks and possessing illegal fireworks, when we come out, we take any type of enforcement action. Not only we're going to confiscate your fireworks, we're going to issue you a citation, and the minimum fine for those citations is $500. So beyond receiving a citation, beyond the dangers of using illegal fireworks in our neighborhoods, this obviously has the potential to ruin somebody's holiday, but also the strain that it puts on all of the emergency services in our community during the 4th of July. Historically, it's the busiest day for our communications center where we receive the largest number of 911 and 311 calls. So you can imagine the strain that it puts on our folks trying to process these calls, get officers dispatched into neighborhoods. And a significant number of these calls that we get regarding the illegal use of fireworks, it puts an incredible strain on not just the call takers and the dispatchers, but the officers that are out there trying to respond to all of these calls for service. So our goal, by increasing the officer presence in some of these neighborhoods, by beefing up the presence that we have out there in the community with our police, fire support, we'll be able to truly have an impact on the front end so that people do not have to call 911. And lastly, though, if people do see illegal activity, illegal fireworks, that's the time that there's a county website called iSpy. Fireworks.com. We ask people to use that instead of jamming up the 311 and 911 system for those types of calls for service. The iSpyFireworks.com, it's a county-run program that gives us the ability to capture data and have officers respond in real time to those complaints. So like I said, the goal of having an increased presence of officers and fire personnel working together in our communities is so that we have the ability to respond quickly to the complaints and to the things that are making what should be a day of celebration very disruptive and not a fun day for people when this type of activity is occurring. So on behalf of everybody at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, I want to say thank you all for coming, but we want to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July. And I will now turn the podium over to Clark County Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick.
Thank you, Sheriff, and thank you all of you for coming. It's really important that you help us get this message out. Years ago when we started it, we had over 25,000 calls that impeded our 911 system. And so what does that exactly mean? That means when somebody calls for a traffic accident or someone calls for a medical emergency, we can't get to those calls because we are focused on all the calls that are coming through on fireworks. So we worked at the county and with our partners at the city, the mayor, who's been there from day one, as well as Metro and Fire, to establish a website so that we could go in and we could start tracking the data. And as you can see in many of our maps previously, we know where the hot spots are, and we've worked over the years to get better and better. But this year is really so much more important because we have so many new people to the community that we have to remind them that they are illegal. We have Safe and Sane, which honestly supports all of our nonprofits that are out there. So we encourage you to go out to continue to support our nonprofits because they sell those fireworks that they take back to their organization. But the illegal fireworks have so much damage. So for instance, we have a lot of our veterans that are truly impacted by the sounds of all those fireworks going off all night into the early morning hours. We have animals. It's a big strain on us, the county and the city, to ensure that we can get those animals back to where they need to be. So a lot of us have some real specific reasons why you shouldn't do it, but just a reminder that it is not safe. And we have safe fireworks that you can do. We have so many more folks around the community that are hosting events that didn't used to host events for your pleasure, so that you can go out and actually enjoy them and make sure that your home is not one of the fires that we have to respond to. That traffic accident that was caused because a bottle rocket landed on your car while driving. So just a reminder to people that ispyfireworks.com is a great way for us to continue each and every year to gather that data and to you light it. We're going to write it, and for sure there's a citation. We work with the legislature to have a fine that goes with it because we're serious about this. This impacts people's lives for the short term and the very long term, and we need your help as a community to keep our community safe. So with that, I'm going to introduce my friend and colleague, Mayor Carolyn Goodman, so that she can speak.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner and Under Sheriff. This really is such an important day for all of us who call this city and community of Southern Nevada our home. It is a time for us to make sure that those who are visiting and those who have decided to disrupt life here, that we're very serious about keeping everything safe, that fireworks, it's illegal, will not be tolerated here. And there are too many young people and older people, veterans as well, as the County Commission just said, who have been affected in so many ways, either by exploding fireworks, illegal fireworks, or have even lost fingers, eyes. There's so much trouble and outcome from the devastating illegal fireworks. So there are ways to go ahead and serve it, but we want everybody to know. 248 years, independence. It's a great country. We have a great community here, and we're counting on everyone out in the community. You see something happening that's questionable, please let us know. Please make sure that you are staying away from anything that is problematic and you're taking care of your own yards, getting rid of anything that's dry, getting those fronds off the palm trees, getting those leaves picked up. But we count on everybody who calls this home and loves our community. We have a lot of visitors in town, and as you know, it's going to be 114 or better. So know this is one of the hottest 4th of Julys we've ever had. And wherever you live in Nevada, and especially in Southern Nevada, it's your time to show how much you really care for everything we're trying to create here in Southern Nevada. And with that, I have a lovely opportunity to introduce our Deputy Chief Touchstone from Clark County Fire. I'll take your place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for having me. CCFD is very proud to support the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and our community partners in having a goal of the safest community in America this 4th of July. CCFD intends to accomplish this goal by supporting Metro and our community partners' prevention, enforcement, and emergency response efforts. These efforts will improve public safety by reducing fires and injuries caused by illegal fireworks. Last year on July 4th and 5th, CCFD alone responded to 109 outside fires and 24 building fires. On a normal day, we respond to approximately 11 outside fires and 7 building fires. So you can see there's a pretty incredible increase on the 4th and 5th of July, most notably caused by fireworks. This influx of 911 calls relating to fires and injuries is a significant community hazard and a major burden on the 911 system, as we heard Sheriff Walsh discuss. In addition to the increased 911 calls relating to outside and building fires, many people use 911 to report fireworks complaints. These 911 calls to report fireworks can tie up the lines for actual emergencies. So we are asking, as we heard, for assistance in reducing the community hazard and burden on the 911 system by, again, utilizing the ispyfireworks.com website. Utilizing this site will not automatically result in a dispatch to your neighborhood, but the task force will use the website to gather data and focus on target hotspot areas using the You Light It, We Write It enforcement efforts. We also ask for your support to make the community safer by only buying and using safe and sane fireworks or watching one of the 9 incredible fireworks shows at one of our local venues here in town. Safe and sane fireworks are purchased at local nonprofit booths that have been inspected by local fire inspectors. The packaging on safe and sane fireworks will have a safe and sane label, not just a sticker, but the packaging should include a built-in label. Safe and sane fireworks purchased by local vendors include sparklers and fireworks that remain in very small areas, hopefully on pavement or hard-packed surfaces, and do not go up into the air or explode. Illegal fireworks, on the other hand, include firecrackers, Roman candles, skyrockets, and anything that is highly combustible and shoots in the air and explodes. These illegal fireworks can be a fire hazard in our dry climate, causing fire, tree, brush, grass, and building fires. Fireworks purchased outside of Clark County are likely to be illegal. So again, if you plan to celebrate with fireworks on the 4th of July, please buy them from a local nonprofit stand to ensure they are safe and sane and approved for use here in Clark County. Illegal fireworks will be confiscated, as we heard earlier, by our joint task force and could result in a minimum fine of $500. CCFD and local ambulance companies will be fully staffed and prepared to respond to any and all emergencies that occur in our community this 4th of July, as always. We'll be making adjustments to our typical responses to build capacity and preparation for the increased call volume. We will be coordinating our efforts with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and the rest of our community partners. And we all look forward to celebrating the 4th of July and what it means to each of us. Let's be sure to celebrate in a responsible and safe manner. It is now my pleasure to introduce Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Fire Chief Fernando Gray, Sr.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Chief Touchstone. I really appreciate the introduction. My name is Fernando Gray. I'm the fire chief for the city of Las Vegas. And again, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue is proud to participate in the You Light It, We Write It campaign. Working in the fire service for approximately 3 decades, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of bad outcomes related to the use of fireworks. So with that being said, again, we want to do everything possible to make sure that our community is safe. One of the things that I will make sure that everyone is aware of is that fireworks actually are responsible for a considerable amount of poor outcomes in our country. So for example, there were actually 8 deaths last year in the United States related to fireworks, and approximately 10,000 injuries are basically utilizing fireworks as a causal factor. In addition, there were about 31,000 fires within the United States that actually were a result of fireworks. One of the things that I do want to make sure that our community is aware of is the fact that each and every member of our inspections and our investigations team will be out in the community tomorrow to make sure that, again, we are fully functional and making sure that keeping the fireworks to a limit. And when I say the fireworks, the illegal fireworks. I would encourage the majority of our community to basically, again, leave it up to the experts and go to a professional fireworks show. But if you choose to actually utilize fireworks, of course, to Chief Touchstone's point, make sure that you're using safe and sane products. One of the things that I will say that if you do use those products, there's a couple points that, again, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of. If you use safe and sane products, again, make sure that you actually have water close by. Make sure that you don't allow children to actually utilize the safe and sane products unsupervised. Again, we would encourage you to not have children in the approximate area or the proximate area of where the fireworks are being used. The last thing, again, I want to just reemphasize something that Chief Touchstone said. Utilizing the 911 system will basically, again, cause some challenges from a response standpoint. So please utilize the iSpy.com system to, again, report illegal activity as it relates to fireworks. The last thing I'd like to do, again, is make some acknowledgments. I want to acknowledge all the first responders in our region, in our community, for the service that they provide. To Under Sheriff Walsh's point, this is, again, the most busiest day of the year for our members. And again, I want to celebrate the work that they do each and every day. The last thing I want to acknowledge is the work and the partnerships that have gone on over the last year in preparation to make sure that, again, we can respond appropriately and, again, keep our community safe. So thank you, and again, I'll welcome Under Sheriff Walsh back to the podium.
So we'll take a few questions if anybody had any questions before we close out. Yes, ma'am.
So, even with Las Vegas Sun, I know last week I spoke with a member of Venture who mentioned you had already confiscated more fireworks in the run-up to July 4th than the entirety of 2023. Because of that, are you expecting an increased use in illegal fireworks, or are you expecting about?
Well, I hope it reduces it. I think that, like I said, the 7 tons that we've been able to recover, hopefully that slowed down and that message spread out throughout the community for people not to come into the community with them. If hopefully that word spreads and people say, hey, you're going to get stopped. They know that you're buying them. They know you're coming into town with them. Just don't do it. There's a significant amount of money involved in those types of seizures when we take those fireworks. Somebody's bought those. And so hopefully that sent a clear message to people that we will take them, we will confiscate them. And my goal would be that it reduces the actual number. So we'll see. We have some measurements in place. Obviously, we'll look at the calls for service. We'll look at how many things we had to respond to as a first responder community to see if that actually had an impact and then see where we go for next year. All right. Thank you very much.
Question?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I
I'm
can't.
all the way back here. I heard 109 outside fires and 29 building fires. Was that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and what is the difference of an outside fire and a building fire?
So an outside fire typically is just classified as someone calling 911 and reporting a brush or grass fire, something that's outside of a structure. That can also spread to and become a structure fire. And that's usually what we see with fireworks is usually they'll start some grass or a roof or a palm tree on fire, and then that fire will subsequently spread to the building, right? And so because 4th of July is so busy, we typically have fire engines running every which direction. I'm sure you'll see that out there. They'll be responding from call to call to call. So response times can vary. And that's the problem with all these calls that are coming in. It really taxes emergency response services and why it's so important that people don't use illegal fireworks. Because while they're using them, enjoying them, they're potentially setting off their neighbor's grass, bush, fence, and maybe even structure fire.
And there was also a number of people who were actually hurt from the fireworks, correct? What was that number again, I'm sorry?
I didn't actually provide a number today.
Oh, okay, I think you did.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Fernando Gray, City of Las Vegas. Again, the number that I actually provided to you was not just here in our region, it was in the United States. So again, there was approximately 10,000 injuries.
Thank you.
Thank you all.